Me?
I would get claustrophobic being in there for 8, 9 hours a day, 12 hours a day.
Okay, we're back recording.
We're up to our time with the auditor.
Okay, so next week, I think we just have a couple things on the calendar. We have a public hearing for DD4 Lat 28 at 10 o'clock. We have approval of fireworks for abate. And that's all we have so far. It's a claims day next week.
That's in June already.
It's June already, yes. We're already to June, and,
What time's the one at DD 428?
10 o'clock. And then, I've been communicating with, well, you saw, I copied you guys in the email that I sent to the law firm regarding the records request. And so, we're working on that. Derek has downloaded emails. I think he's finished with that, so now we'll go through them. By the looks of the email, they really don't wanna give us any additional time, although they said they would if they needed to. But I think hopefully we should have it to them. Thursday is the deadline, so.
I didn't understand why they wanted it all in one tranche.
Because they have they're having us download it into, I don't understand how it all works, but it'll
Like
go,
electronic file transfer.
it'll go to
system.
them electronically,
Yeah.
and I think that's why.
Yeah, I know engineering firms and stuff like that do that too. I think Luke even deals with stuff like that regularly.
Yeah, so I'll be talking to Todd and Derek and Doug and everybody and making sure that Luke has gotten a lot of files for us as well, so, we'll be making sure we get that out together and get that down to them this week, so. And I think that's all I have.
Jack?
No, not from last week, got some coming up.
Cartman?
I had Care Connections last Tuesday afternoon. The highlights were, we had Nutty Renshaw there, from Kossuth County here, and talked about the transition from Haley to Marissa, and that's going smoothly. They just were giving us the data from last August through March with that position, that there was around 300 hours of police time saved, is what they're estimating. Marissa was in our meeting via Zoom or Teams or whatever, Zoom for that, yeah. And so she introduced herself to the board and all that. Our fund balance was $2,299,278.17, and then we approved all the grant applications to spend on that fund balance before the end of the year. So, yep. Other than that, that's pretty much what we did.
What was the time frame you had said for those hours?
From August of last year, of course, through March of this year. So
Okay.
about 8 months. Yeah, something like that. September, October, November, December, January, February, March, 7 months. 7 months. Time period.
Okay.
It's quite a few hours.
That is a lot of
Yeah.
hours, yep. So I think that position's going well. Yeah.
Josh?
Other than, well, I was gonna say, other than that, I didn't have any meetings. I did want to say, in regards to the pipeline, our ordinance and all that, do we want to have any discussion regarding the ordinance or regarding setbacks or anything that any board members would feel we would like to discuss? You know, whereas if we get to a point where we want to pass something or do whatever, is there something that we would like to discuss to prepare for that or not? I just wanted to pose that question on a future agenda.
It's a good question.
I mean, I'd be open for discussion. There's a lot of pieces I think we could discuss further,
'Cause I don't,
even in addition to waiting for the information from.
even if we're waiting, I think it's good to make sure we're. it's-
Keeping on top of it.
keeping on top of things and having that discussion, that way, you know, should you get to a point where the board feels they wanna move forward with something, we know what we're moving forward with.
Yeah,
That's all I'm saying. What do you guys think?
maybe,
Putting on the agenda just to have the discussion,
I mean, we haven't had it on for a couple weeks now, we could go next week or even space out and do two and give everyone a little extra time to prepare thoughts, but it doesn't matter to me, either way.
put a June 13th.
June 13th board meeting, have a discussion on setbacks for
I would suggest.
the summit,
Just the proposed ordinance,
the proposed ordinance.
Do you want discussion,
That'll give me some
decision,
time
or
to-
just discussion?
Just discussion.
Yeah, I'll put it on the agenda for discussions.
yeah, probably just discussion would be good.
So as far as,
Cause I don't know what we'd be.
Then, and I think that'd be clearer to the public that we're not making a decision, we're just talking about it and keeping the topic fresh.
Yep, and then that'll give me a little time to let the people know.
as far as Navigator pipeline, Kyle, I have not heard a lot of comments. Have you?
Not a ton, I mean, besides things that have been talked about before, not anything real earth shattering, no.
Do you know anything about any of the easements being signed up there yet?
The last update I had was about 23-24% off the top of my head. And I believe all of those were locals except one that I wasn't sure on. But I guess, yeah, they're making progress. I haven't gotten a up-to-date spotlight, but yeah.
Check with Luke sometime to see where we're at before we have our next discussion on this.
Yes,
Yeah,
I will.
and- Yep, yeah, and I'd gotten information from Luke for that the last time, and I think that'd be good to have
check.
updated
Update
list.
numbers.
The last time we had an update list was, over 2 weeks ago, so, you know, half a month, things can change.
Mhm.
Well,
And then it'll be
if-
a full month by the time we discuss it, so,
Yeah,
yep. Okay, that's all I have.
On the pipeline issue, I had conversations with, the zoning administrator from Charles City, and they were questioning what we were doing in Kossuth County.
Yep.
And they have a lot of the same concerns that we do in Kossuth County. They have people that don't want it, people that don't care. And he said they had just about 80% of their easements signed.
wow,
In Floyd County,
that's a high percent.
That is a lot.
yeah,
So,
well, I did visit with Steve Cankel as well, and called him in to visit for a while, and he thought we were doing the right thing, you know, with where we're at.
and
Coming from someone who's been involved with it from day one, that's,
Yep.
and Story County, Floyd County kinda agreed with what we are doing, that
Yep.
what they're doing.
Right.
Put the cart ahead of the horses.
Yeah, no, in Shelby, like I said, Steve with Shelby County, kind of was along the same lines, and, yeah, talked to him for quite a while.
oh, that's good.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
Didn't mean to interrupt on you, but it was kinda
No,
pertinent to
you're
the same
fine.
point.
I'm
No,
done.
it's
I'm
good
done.
time.
Yeah. Josh?
Wednesday, we have the intern breakfast.
Oh, yeah, I guess I didn't go to the intern breakfast.
I forgot, I didn't even, woke up
And-
that morning, didn't even remember anything.
And we're supposed to give, Roger a really hard time.
Roger and
And
Jack.
Jack a really hard time.
Yeah.
I was laying in a MRI machine, so
Oh.
I would have rather been there than laying there for half an hour.
Yeah.
Had
Wow.
another meeting.
Maureen was sad she didn't get a picture of it.
Yeah.
Darn.
She was very disappointed.
I would have traded, really. I
I
had that lined up, you gotta, you know, it is, you gotta line that stuff up 2-3
I
months in
know,
advance
I know.
anymore.
Yeah.
and you don't pick your day, they tell you.
No,
when you-
and then when you reschedule, it'll be another 2 months.
Yeah, so,
Mhm.
Yeah, it was a good breakfast. We had the executive dean, and his name is escaping me now.
Kyle Norris,
Yep,
Yep, there you go. From the Emmitsburg campus.
Esterville.
Emmitsburg.
No, he was Emmitsburg.
He was Emmitsburg?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, there's Emmitsburg and Esterville that were at the other thing for
Oh, okay.
KCEC, so I didn't remember, I thought he was Esterville.
Well, they're close to the same time,
Yeah.
they're right in the same, they're in the same state.
30
Yeah.
miles apart, roughly. Yeah, he gave great speech on leadership and things like that, and there were quite a few interns there. There's probably 10 to 15, somewhere right in that range. So,
Yeah,
Some
and we
from
have some
our
here at the
office.
courthouse, yeah.
and then I also had on Thursday the TSB committee meeting. That was
TSB is in the Duncan State.
That's what I was thinking too.
You should probably elaborate.
What is
on
It-
TSB?
So it's the Technology Services Board.
Okay.
It's actually a statewide committee, that I got invited onto by Joel Roney. He's the head of the TSB, I would say he's the director. Just discussing different technology needs around the state, dealing with local governments, even down to city government and stuff like that to, better improve, infrastructure and stuff for the little guys that they don't have the ability to have, a staffed IT guy and things like that, so. A lot of good discussions there, and just trying to throw Kossuth into the ring on a few things to, benefit the county, but there's more to be discussed there. Yeah, I think that's, other than, I had a call or two about pipeline stuff, and that was about it.
Had meeting for CIJDC, Central Iowa Juvenile Detention Center, on Friday, the 26th. Probably the biggest thing to note from that is our $7 million expansion is complete, and they're doing training and stuff. It should be opened up here this week sometime, so that will be a big tool in the toolbox as far as the handling the individuals that we have to deal with and stuff. It's been a long time coming, and it should have been opened up previously, but with COVID, supply chain issues and contractor staffing levels and everything, it's been a challenge. But otherwise, that's probably the highlight there. We have EMS meeting tonight, and then all the normal
Did you get
business.
Tony, did you keep Tony hired for another year?
For now,
Evaluation was
Yeah.
all right, you didn't just critique him, or?
not too hard yet. We'll get there.
He does a good job.
Yeah, and that operation, I mean, if we were just running detention out of that organization, the cost of the counties would be astronomical compared to what it is right now. With all the other businesses that run out of there, I guess I can go down to the financial side. So on the expenses, well, this is the revenue report, so revenue for detention for this month brought in just shy of 300,000 from members, affiliates, and non-contract. If you go to the expenses, detention cost over 500,000, so 100,000 a month loss minimum. But total money that the operation, that the center handles, with fiscal services and all that sort of stuff, is just shy of 50 million. So with ECI areas, workforce development, all those other, drug testing, evaluations, coordination, counseling, all those other services, that's where we really make the money on administration of different things, so.
Early childhood, and that's who our fiscal agent is.
Yep.
Transportation's another big deal.
Transportation's a big deal, employer of record services are big, and actually at this meeting I thought of, I'll talk to Maureen sometime, but she had asked about health insurance for their organization a couple times to me, and this might be an opportunity for them, any other things along that line, but they.
To buy it through
Yeah, to have CIJDC be the employer of record, because they have multiple different offers for plans, so it's all kind of funneled through them, but then it's paid for by the entity that's getting it, so.
I like their insurance plans that they had, cause you could opt out and take a stipend.
Yep,
Actually, they had a very, very good insurance.
yeah, and I mean, honestly,
I don't
maybe
think they've
that's.
changed it, have it?
No, they do the stipend for their insurance, there's multiple different plans, you can get single family, like the employee and children, there's multiple options, so you can pick your needs, but then the contribution from the organization is the same. But then if, say, economic development or someone else had them as employer of record for that stuff, they can set whatever their contribution is and the employees can make up the difference. So, I mean, you can have it set up a lot of different ways, but those other services are really subsidizing the county's expense on detention. And
We have anybody in there lately?
no, we have not had anything this entire year so far.
Really?
Yeah, no
That
kidding.
was quite expensive.
Actually, let me find the sheet for it, I think it's. So Webster's the big leader right now with 300,000 this year so far. We are at 0, they had budgeted 19,000 for us, but I mean, it all depends, if you get 1 or 2 that stay there for a while, you can cross that pretty easy, so. It just is what it is, depends on who gets arrested here and everything, but right now we're at 0, so. We'll keep it that way as long as we can. But
Yep, I didn't have anything last week except telephone calls, normal stuff.
So just a reminder, if you guys do have any documents that are not contained in emails for the records request, please make sure you get them to me in the next couple days, so they can.
I don't think I do.
Okay, that's
I mean,
fine,
other documents that are not in an email.
yeah. So anything that wouldn't be, that Derek wouldn't be getting, if it's anything separate, please get that to me so we can get those released.
Okay,
mhm.
I mean. I guess, what would be a document that I would have received outside of an email?
Well, like,
Letter,
A letter
Yeah,
sent to your.
somebody gave you
Oh, it's like to my
information,
physical residence or something?
yeah, or somebody gave you information, didn't send it by email, so you gave you information,
Yep.
anything like that.
Everything that I've ever got has happened in this board.
Yeah, I don't think I've really got anything outside the board for, I mean, nobody's ever mailed anything to my house, so, yeah.
doesn't mean that you can't have a conversation with somebody on the street.
Yeah,
Right, yeah.
That doesn't apply.
No,
Just
no.
anything that legally came to you.
Yeah, no, I haven't gotten anything of any kind from the house.
Motion to adjourn.
So
Second.
I have a motion and a second to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
I